Hi guys, I'm Chantel and welcome back to my channel. Now, if you're new here, you might not know this about me, but if you've been here for a little while, you probably know that I constantly like to be changing things up. And so instead of doing like a regular reading vlog this Saturday, like I kind of have been doing, I'm doing something different and I'm doing like a week in a review. I saw this idea by Mike, and I don't remember what his channel is, but I will put it on the screen and link it below. He does a weekly review of like the books he's been reading, what he plans on reading, and then he does like a movie thing. I don't watch like TV or movies, so that's not true, I do, but it would be every week I'd be saying, yeah, I watched Travel Man and I watched Would I Lie to You, because apparently all I watch is like BBC stuff. So I'm not going to do that. My plan here is to tell you what I've been reading this week, what I plan on reading next week, and then I'm going to do like channel / life update kind of thing. I'll kind of explain it a little more as I go into it, and then after that I'm going to do like a hey reader update, because we keep adding new stuff to the site and kind of need like a space to let you all know about that. So let's just dive in, and I'm going to talk about what I've been reading this week. Actually, I'm not even going to start with the full week. I'm going to start with Tuesday. That was the first, because I did my August reading wrap up already, and I feel like I don't really need to talk about the books that I finished at the end of August. But I started a couple new books here. So I have A Curse So Dark and Lonely, and I have the dust jacket off right now. Very beautiful book. I can't remember. This may have been on my 5-star prediction list. I definitely went into this expecting a lot because I've heard so much. About that time of day where my cat tries to open the door. I don't know, she's weird. Okay, A Curse So Dark and Lonely. I have heard so many good things about it. I'm like really close to the end here already, and I wouldn't be surprised if I finished this today. I feel like this book has a lot of good points. It's not as good as I was expecting. And I don't know if it's the hype. Here, then you can actually see the cover. And then my cat's itching herself on the tripod. She's like determined to have her time in the limelight or whatever. Okay, so it's hard to go into a book thinking you're going to love it, but I have found over the last few years that I actually quite enjoy YA fairy tale retellings. Like I like Cinder, and I liked Stepsister last month, and I'm sure there's more, but I'm totally blanking right now. But I generally like that kind of thing, and I do like a lot about this book so far, but there's a few things I'm not enjoying, and it's overall just not as good as I was expecting. Yeah, but who knows, maybe the end will sway my decision a little bit, or my thoughts a little bit. I guess I'll tell you more about that next week. Then my current audiobook is called The Call of the Wild and Free. It's a homeschool book, and it's like a really good book. Weird cat. It's a really good book if you are like thinking about homeschooling or like new to homeschooling. We are entering our 5th year homeschooling, and even I feel like it's an encouragement. It's kind of helping me feel not necessarily justified, but maybe more secure in some of my decisions. And I agree with the author on a lot of things that she's saying. So I think I have like an hour and a half or so left of that book. And then I'm also reading The Great Trouble. I got this from the library a little while ago, and quite a few people wanted me to read it. I'm about halfway done. And so this is a middle grade book about, well, I think a cholera outbreak in London back in, does it have a year? 1854. So I feel like this book has a lot of similarities to Fever 1793, which we just finished listening to as a family. We listen at mealtimes to an audiobook. So this has very similar vibes, but this one is so much better. Like, I know people like Fever 1793, but I feel like this one is way better. So our main character here is a mudlark. Like, he, searches through the River Thames for different things he can find and sell, and yeah, there's just lots of different things going on, and I just feel like this is so much more well written. I have half left on that. Oh, yeah, because I was thinking, I never actually really talk very much about the books that we are reading or listening to together as a family as mealtimes, but maybe I will start doing that because currently we're listening to The War That Saved My Life. And I think the audiobook said we're like 37% done. So this is all just my cat. So we're about a third of the way through the book. And I have listened or read this book before. It's a middle grade World War II story. And I thought it was quite good. Not as much as like people rave about it as well. Yeah, but this is an interesting look on World War II because we follow a girl and her brother who have been, you know, removed from London to go live somewhere safer in the country, and how it actually ends up being a really good thing for them. As for what I plan on reading next week, I feel like this might change because I kind of mood read within my TBR and stuff. But currently, I got an advanced copy of The Defiance, which is part of the Delusion series. I am part of the book launch team for that, and I actually don't know, I've got my email here. I don't actually know the exact date it's being released, but I will insert that here. So in the series, it starts with The Delusion, and then The Deception, and then now The Defiance. And it's I think maybe like young adult. We follow like a high schooler / college student, I think. And it's like a supernatural suspense book. I really enjoyed the first two when I read them in the winter and spring. So when I got the email that the author was having a book launch team, I emailed her and I got on it. So I've got the ebook for that, and I hope to read that either this week or next week. Although, like, I really struggle with ebooks. I know lots of people do, but I feel like, oh well, okay, my one big problem is I love the idea that you can get ebooks from your library. And in the US, I know from the Libby app, you guys can put them onto your Kindle. But in Canada, for whatever reason, we can't. And that makes me really annoyed. I want to find out where I can petition to make this come to Canada, because I don't know why it can be allowed in one country but not the next. Yeah, because I feel like if it's on my phone, I forget about it. But if I was pulling out my Kindle, then I would actually read the books. Okay, yeah, so I want to read that book. And then, Sally Clarkson has a new book out called Awaking Wonder. And I've seen people recommend it, and I myself have done this. I thought it was Awakening Wonder. And I've seen multiple people write it that way. Now, I don't know if I made them write it the wrong way, or if, yeah, I just kind of maybe this was a little bit of a poor title choice there. I have the ebook from the library for that. So will I remember to read it? I'm not sure. And then looking at my TBR, let's see what I would pick. I have so many options because, beginning of the month, I haven't read my books yet. The ones that kind of currently stand out to me would be The Arithmetist. This is Sanderson's middle grade book. The one everyone comments on and wants me to read, Life of Pi. I am on the list for the audio of this. I haven't heard people talk about the audio, if it's any good. But I feel like that's the way to go with this book, maybe. So if that comes in this week, I'll do that. Or this one is a sci-fi, Christian sci-fi book, I think. And I'm really curious about this one. So I'm kind of thinking of choosing between those for next week. But we'll see. Okay, now for the updates section here. I just thought it would be kind of cool to continue some of the conversations that have kind of come up in the last week. So, because you put out a video and people comment on it, and I love that there's a bit of discussion in the comments, but it's I kind of want to continue that conversation a little more. So for Monday, I shared my book haul, and I had one of the books on there was I think the series is called His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman. And I really appreciate lots of people, or a few people, commented and said that I think it's something he depicts the person killing God or something like that. And that's really good. I don't like to know stuff going into books because I don't want to be surprised. I want to be surprised when I read it. I don't want to be spoiled for it. But at the same time, it's well, it's good to know these things when you're these major things when you're going into it. So I'm going to do a little bit of research on that book/series and see if that's something that I'm going to actually read or not. If you've read the series, I would love like some information, your thoughts on it, and maybe that will help guide my decision. One thing I don't mention here very often is that I have a newsletter that I send out every other week. So at the beginning of the month, I send out 4 options of books that are currently on my TBR, that on my cart, that I want people to vote on, and the one with the highest votes is the one that I will read for next month. So I already sent it out, I think I sent it out Monday, although there was definitely a glitch because I'm supposed to get it as well, and I didn't get it till like Tuesday evening, even though I sent it Monday morning. Really weird that time. But I am going to send it out in a week and a half, or like just over a week from now again, and so there will still be time to vote if you want to vote. And then at the end of this month, or I guess it will be the end of October, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my favorite book from September, and I'm going to give away a free copy to someone that is subscribed to my newsletter. So at the beginning of October, I'll tell you like, this book was my favorite, and if you want to enter the giveaway to win that book, then you can do so. So if you're interested in that, definitely sign up. It's always linked in my description. And then I plan on doing that monthly, so like giving away a free copy of my favorite book from each month for like the foreseeable future. So hopefully I come away with a book that I find really good this month, so I can give something away. I don't know what I would do if I had like a month maybe where I didn't have like a 5-star book or one that I was like really excited about. Maybe I would just give away like a runner-up from a few months ago or something like that. Yeah, just gonna kind of, try that out, see how that goes. And then, okay, hey reader. So if you saw my September TBR, then you probably heard about the website that I got my husband to build. That is for like picking a TBR, and it's like a random prompt generator, really is what it is. And there are so many people signed up, and I love that people are joining people's TBRs. They're like making their own. There's so many different ways to do it. So you can join someone's TBR, you can make your own, you can, some people are like, like how I do it, where they choose like 5+ prompts at the beginning of the month and then they pick their books. Some people are doing it one book at a time. So actually my daughter's doing it this way. She listens to a lot of audiobooks, so she's doing this for her audiobook. So she just has her like 20/20 reads, and every time she finishes an audiobook, she goes on and she gets a new prompt, and then she tries to find a book that fits that prompt. I'm really excited about the site, and then I have so many ideas for it, and I keep telling Jared all these ideas, and like the poor guy has a full-time job. He's doing this in his spare time for me. So I appreciate all the hard work he's doing, and you guys are giving some like great feedback and awesome ideas. So a few things that I know he's working on that will probably be released soon is the ability to add in your own custom prompts. So if you want to, have more variety. When choosing the prompts, I tried to make it so that I chose ones that could come up fairly frequently and you wouldn't get sick of it. Like I didn't want to be too niche with the prompts, because let's say like you have one with a rubber duck on it, let's say. You can't do that every other month. That's more like a readathon prompt, I feel like, where you have to like struggle to find something to fit that. So I'm trying to be broad with that. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. He's gonna work on the custom prompts. He recently, I think just the other day, a couple days ago, released the ability to add book lists. So this has been, that was like a top priority for me, because I'm really bad at linking the books that I talk about, but I know it can be really helpful because people like me, I never actually say the author's name in books, and that is partly just because I'm terrible at pronouncing names and partly out of laziness or whatever. But like you don't always catch which book people are talking about. So I personally find it very helpful when people link the books. And so now pretty much every video that I do, or at least when I talk about like a decent number of books, I'm going to have a link that will go directly to Hey Reader, and it will have a list of the books that I mentioned in the video. That is actually really helpful for me, so I'm glad that one is already released and up. Some of the and you can feature them. So some of the featured ones I have are, I have a list of all the books that are on my TBR cart. I have my fall TBR, like books that I really want to read this fall. And I recently did my August reading wrap up. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that. You can use that however works for you. You can also hide some of the book lists so they can be private so that people don't have to see them. Yeah. Well, what else is he working on? Oh, I should mention that we have a Hey Reader Instagram. Like it's, you know, we've only been using it for like a week or two. But if you like reading memes and funny things like that, that's currently mostly what it is. Is where we'll be sharing some of the updates, and I'm going to share more stuff on there soon. And I asked Jared if he would like every now and then share what he's reading, because he actually reads quite a bit, but you know, he doesn't share it anywhere, so I thought that'd be fun. I think our plan is for us to like share the Instagram account and both of us share stuff on there, so I think that'll be fun. And then as far as Hey Reader goes, I would really like to do a week-long readathon, and have like some of the more niche prompts for one of the weeks in October. But I'm not sure. I have to look to see what there all is going on for readathons around that time. I don't want to like overlap too much with other readathons, but I think that would be a lot of fun to do. And then like every time I do something like that, there's always some kind of prize. Someone wins a book or multiple books, so there would definitely be some kind of aspect like that in there. And yeah, so I think that's all for Hey Reader. I think that's all for the weekly wrap up. And I think that's all for the sun. It's like constantly sun and clouds these days. Let me know what you think of this kind of format, this kind of like week in review. Here's what I read, here's what I'm reading, and all the other stuff. I think it'll be fun to try for a few weeks, and we'll see how that goes. Every now and then I might do a reading vlog instead. You know, if you know me at all, I'm just gonna constantly change it up and kind of do it how I want to do it. But I would love to hear your thoughts anyway. Thanks for watching, guys.